All right, folks. This is Alex San Vicente with Conservative Hispanic MAGA Radio. Make America Great Again. Still celebrating this wonderful occasion where Donald Trump is elected president. Still pinching myself every day, wondering if it's all a dream. It was all a dream. It was all a dream. A lot of us think that it was a dream because we're just like, he was saying some things that were just completely just against the establishment, that the key words that he used, some of the key words that he used, you just never thought that he would get elected because they would just never let it happen. But it did happen. So let's get on to the subject of this particular little video post. What is Donald Trump going to do with the education system? Now, your average superintendent makes anywhere from $150,000 to some cities $400,000. That's at the top of the bureaucracy. There's something called Common Core. Common Core is basically, it's something that we don't really understand what it is. Just like all education bureaucracies, they make it so difficult to understand what some of these things are that you just wonder if they purposely try to make it complicated. It's like the education system has become a government bureaucracy on purpose, only so that we can continue to milk the government teat, which I always like to say. So I think that the Department of Education is going to be majorly reformed. Business Insider tells us that the Department of Education is going to be hit with some major changes. And what are some of those changes? Basically, we're going to see the role of the federal government. It's going to go a little bit like this. Right now, we're spending about $12,000 per pupil on education. And, you know, what Donald Trump was sometimes saying was that, you know, we either need to eliminate the Department of Education or completely get rid of it. It's a giant bureaucracy. What's it do? Think about it. What's it do? If all this stuff is happening at the local level, what the heck does the Department of Education do? So he does have the ability to do that. You know, as long as he has the support of Congress, and we can eliminate it. So he has actually said that he wants to reform it or eliminate it. And a lot of people don't think it's possible, but it is possible. What's his website saying about what he wants to do with education? So we want to, I say we, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, he wants to immediately add $20 billion towards a program that he's calling school choice. This will reprioritize existing federal dollars and give states the option to allow these funds to be used towards the student's choice of public or private schools. They're basically like voucher programs. It's going to be distributed to states that favor private schools, magnet schools, and charter law schools, and encourages them to participate. It's going to create a national goal of providing school choice for every one of the 11 million students that are currently living in poverty. It's interesting that Democrats have controlled inner city education for more than 70 years, and it's some of the worst in the entire nation. And when you go to places that are more affluent, where parents are more involved in the schools, because if it's one thing that you know about schools, when you're in more affluent areas, the parents are really involved. But in the inner cities, they're not. And I think it's by design, because I think the Department of Education wants it that way. The bureaucracy, the educational bureaucracy wants it that way. Because if they can keep turning the wheels, they can keep collecting the paychecks. So right now, states are spending anywhere from about $110 billion on education. That's on top of $20 billion in federal dollars. So that could easily provide $12,000 in school choice fund for every student who lives in poverty today. So what they want to do is basically give the opportunity for students to attend a 2 to 4 year trade school college, because, you know, unfortunately, not everybody gets a trophy, folks. I'm real sorry about that. I know that pisses a lot of people off, but not everybody gets a trophy. There's no trophy for second place. And not everybody is smart enough to go to college and be a doctor or a lawyer. I know that's a tough pill to swallow. And I know we tell our children, you can be anything that you want. And to a certain extent, that's true. But people need to realize their talents, because if you told me to rebuild an engine, I could not do it. I'm just not that person. I like tinkering with things, but as a career, it's not something that I could do. But there are some amazing people out there. There's some amazing mechanics. There's some amazing mechanical engineers. There's some amazing contractors, builders. There's a lot of trades out there: electricians, plumbers, welders. And we're going to need these people, because we're going to rebuild this country. So technical education is going to be really important. So, you know, altogether, though, we were talking about just money that's spent in the inner cities. We spend close to $620 billion on education every year. $620 billion that goes to what? For us to be at the bottom of the education, for us to be close to the bottom of the list as far as educated children go, we're some of the worst. Our peers around us are kicking our ass. The Japanese, the Chinese, they're so good with their children, are so good with their math. And they're respectful. They learn values. What were things like 150 years ago with education? How is it that people were able to critically think and understand and speak eloquently? If I tried to go up to somebody right now and speak to them on a really educated level, I'm not talking about these Ivy League punks that think that they're all above us, that basically lost this election. They can all just go back and hide in their little holes now. I'm talking about conversations that were had between the bartender and the farmer. You know, they would speak in very eloquent wording. How are you doing today? Well, I'm glad you asked, Mr. Jefferson. They would say, Mr. Jefferson. They wouldn't say Tom. They would say, Mr. Jefferson. I'm glad you asked me that question, Mr. Jefferson. I've had better days, but my days will soon be much richer once I bear the fruits of my labor. And then the bartender, Mr. Jefferson, would look back at him and say, all is well in my land too. The fruits of my labor are bearing fruit now, because I too am full of joy. Catalina is with child. People don't speak like that anymore. How do they speak today? What's up, Tom? Hey, what's up, Bill? Well, got Margaret knocked up again. Oh, guess you're going to have another mouth to feed. Good thing that you're going to kick out Junior when he's 18. There's just no respect anymore for the English language and verbiage. You know, people don't talk like that anymore. And you know what used to happen back then was that you had one school teacher for the town, and the school probably had 10 to 12 students in it. They were all different ages. But she taught those students all of the liberal arts that need to be learned, history, English, math. You know, we need to teach our children to be critical thinkers, to be educated, and to think on their own, not to be sitting here whining because they lost an election and crying because they're about to lose their Obamacare. And what will we do now? When? What are we going to do? We just lost our Obamacare. I don't get no free shit no more. I'm going to have to just go out there and actually get a real job. Get a real job. This is all this stupid, sniveling, whining girl crying because Hillary lost and crying because Obamacare is going to be repealed. And she's like, I'm only on my plan until my father is 20. I'm only on my father's plan until I'm 26. What am I going to do after that? Crying. You're 26 years old, woman. It's time for you to go get a job. How about that? How long does it take you to get a degree? You're 26. You should have been done when you were 23. It's a 4-year college, folks. You get in at like 19 years old and you should be done by 23 and out in the workforce. Go out there and get a little experience. If you're going to be doing something that requires you to be licensed in any way, like a doctor or a lawyer, yeah, sure, you might have to go to an 8-year school and get a master's degree. But if you're doing anything besides that, a 4-year degree is good. Get out there and get to work. It's ridiculous. I was taking care of myself when I was 18 years old, and even before that, 16, I had a job. So school choice is going to be real vital in this new administration. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm going to really love seeing all these bureaucracies just completely crumble in a Donald Trump presidency. I'm going to love seeing all these local high schools losing students to little tiny charter schools that are just really, really precisioned, little scientific schools, little mechanical schools, those schools that focus on agriculture, you know, maybe some teacher that's fed up with their stupid high school bureaucracy and not being able to teach the children what he wants to teach them, because some teachers think that some things need to be focused on. They're better at it. You know, he might be the math teacher, but he's a great philosopher, and he might be able to use philosophy to teach you math. But he's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed to step away from the curriculum. He has to follow this indoctrination. So let that guy go and start a charter school and collect $12,000 a pop for about 30 students, you know, and, you know, let him collect a little bit of money for that. You know, he can draw in a nice little $60,000, $70,000 a year salary, and the rest of the money can be used to pay the rent. They can go to the playground. They should be able to go use the playground at the high school, or just go to the park, or maybe school gets out at 12. Who knows? You know, one of the things that I don't have any kids, but one of the things that used to really bother me is that my nephew, he was in class from almost 7 a.m. This was back in Los Angeles, from almost 7 a.m. all the way until 6 p.m., like a freaking job. The poor guy was just exhausted by the end of the day, just completely just through. And it's no wonder these kids are in such bad shape. They're just tired. They're sick. They're vaccinated. But we're going to break all of that stuff out of the hands of these liberal bureaucrats. And it's going to be great. We're going to pull the power away from these inner city libtards that have been destroying our inner city communities for close to 70 years. And it's going to be great. It's what he's talking about when he says that we're going to make America great again. I know that just all sounds like rhetoric to you guys that are against Trump, and anybody honestly that is against him probably would not listen to this far. But those of you that just can't get enough of it, you're listening because it's awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Awesome. All right, folks, that's all for the show. I'm Alex San Vicente with Hispanic MAGA Radio. Let's make America great again. I'm out.